Good afternoon. I would like to welcome all of you. I'm standing here actually in a quite empty room, but I'm happy that we still have the number of people that we could accommodate in this room under the present conditions of the coronavirus. But I'm also quite happy that we have a possibility for people from outside to join us actually in this virtual session. I hope that all new students that arrived, which are our special guests of today, can follow and see what we're doing. I also hope that people from other sides of the world are also joining us. So I would like to not only welcome you in this afternoon, but also in the morning or in the evening, depending on which time zone you're in, to IHE Delft for the opening ceremony of this academic year. For that, I would like to introduce also my colleagues in the rectorate. On the left-hand side is Johan van Dijk, and Johan is our financial director. So he's making sure that, over the years, we as an institute also remain financially solid and that we can progress and proceed. And on my right-hand side here is Charlotte de Fratuur. Charlotte is vice rector and she's taking mainly care of the education system. So a large part of what you as a student will be experiencing is also coming under her guidance here. In the room here in front of me, there are some representatives of the students, like I said, our honorary guests, but also the speakers for today and some other representatives of the institute. I would like to invite Johan and Charlotte to take their seats. And with that, I would like to actually say a few words to all of you. And I made a couple of slides here. First one is this one, and I would like to also point out to you the small image that's on the right-hand side for your screen, which actually reflects a little bit the institute, which is IHE Delft. And let me bring that back over here. This picture, now on the left-hand side, shows you a little bit what IHE Delft is about. IHE Delft is about capacity development for the water sector globally, but with a special focus actually on developing countries. And as you can see, one important part of capacity development is education. And that's also what we're celebrating a little bit today. And what you also see here is that it's not only about education, it's also about research, it's also about what we call institutional strengthening, which is a lot about partnerships. Partnerships with institutions, but also individual partnerships. Partnerships with people like yourself. And those three issues we bring together and we try to use them to develop the capacity that is also required to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And in the picture you see here some of your colleagues or alumni by now holding up the different signs of the Sustainable Development Goals, because we do believe that it's not only about a single Sustainable Development Goals, and of course the Sustainable Development Goal number 6 is quite important for us, which is about water and sanitation. And water in the broader perspective in there. There's also water resource management in there. There's boundary issues in there. But also the linkages with the other SDGs. And I will come back to that in a second. But before doing that, why is it important and why do we as IHE Delft also find it important that you're coming here? And why do we really enjoy the opportunity to train and educate you and bring you one step further in your knowledge about what's happening and possible solutions in the water sector. So if you look at the image that's on the screen here, that's coming from the World Economic Forum. They bring out a report every year. This is the report from 2020. And what you see on the screen is actually two axes. On the y-axis you see the impact, on the x-axis you see the likelihood of crisis in there. And as you can see, there are a number of crises that indicate there. A lot of them are related actually to the natural environment, but also to the anthropogenic environment. This one is one that we're experiencing also today with the coronavirus, for example. So I do expect that when the new report will come out in January, that this one will move up to the right top corner of this image over here. I do think that this one is a little bit underestimated, which is the water crisis. And I think it's important that people realize that this water crisis has such a big influence on what's going to happen, also with the other related topics over there. And like I already said, also with the SDGs. To strengthen this link with the SDGs, I picked up a quote from our Secretary General, and he quoted this in July this year, when the Accelerator report came out. And the Accelerator report was something that the United Nations asked the different organizations to look at, because they are quite worried that we will not be able to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. And we think it's important that we need to achieve as much as possible those Sustainable Development Goals. This Accelerator framework that came out, and this is the one that was proposed by UN Water, and what the Secretary General said is, I think, two things in here. One is that you can't look at the problem in a single way, not from a single perspective, not from a single discipline. You have to look at it as a holistic, systemic, and multilateral challenge that we need to face. So that also requires interdisciplinarity, it requires collaboration, not only on the educational side, not only on the academic side, but also with the implementers and with the stakeholders. What he also said is that water is quite often a sort of a starting point, that if you're not making sure that water is in order, that it will become quite difficult to also achieve other ones, like poverty, like hunger, like all of the other SDGs that are also on the table. So what was proposed as accelerators by the UN Water were 5 different accelerators, and you can see them here. Of course, financing is one of them, but the one I would like to point out as well is the one that's number 3 that was indicated there. That's about capacity development in people and institutions. And I hope that with your 1.5 year over here at IHE Delft, that you will become part and parcel of this development here. And that we are able actually to help you to pick up the knowledge, pick up the tools that you need to make this next step and to help us and yourself as well. And to improve the quality of life everywhere in the world, starting, I think, from the water sector. Because like I indicated already, we think that that's quite an important starting point to look at. I hope that in due time, I can join you in a picture like this. So I hope that in a couple of months, 1.5 years more or less, that I will join you in this picture and that we together will celebrate the fact that you have achieved actually a course that I don't think is too easy. So maybe a warning as well that it will be difficult. But I do think that there is a lot of things that you are able to pick up while you're making this journey. And I hope that today, also in this opening ceremony, we can also give you a small taste on what you may see and what you may learn during your journey that you will take part of. So with that, I would like to actually introduce the next part of our small opening ceremony here. And that is a couple of people have been willing to give you a video message. Unfortunately, because of this situation, you could not come here in person, but they had, I think, a quite nice video message in here. And just to name the people that will say a few words about this, we will start with the interim director, Mr. Abu Amani, from the UNESCO Intergovernmental Hydrology Program. And next, there will be somebody representing our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and that's Karen Roelofs. She is the unit head for water in the DG that is dealing with the cooperation agreements that we do have. The next one that will say a few words here is coming from another important partner for us, is the Rotary Foundation, International Rotary Foundation. So she's going to say a few words to you on the perspective of the Rotary Foundation, because we also have a couple of students who are supported by the Rotary. Next to the Rotary, also the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, represented by Roshan Tresta, who will say a few words about how Bill and Melinda Gates is looking at it. Rotary is really looking at creating leaders, world leaders, but also water leaders. I think if you listen to the presentation of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation from Roshan, You will hear also some advices that he will give to you, what you may pick up during your stay here at IHE Delft. It will be followed by a short presentation coming also from our maker, which is actually our main guest here, and our main host, I should say. She's receiving all of you here in Delft, in the city of Delft, and she will also say a few words about what she thinks Delft may offer you. With that, I will start up the videos so that you can see the different presentations.
Dear students, dear colleagues, my name is Abu Amani. I'm the Director at Interim of UNESCO's Division of Water Sciences and Secretary at Interim of the Intergovernmental Hydrological Program, IHE, based at UNESCO's headquarters in Paris, France. Before joining in 2016 UNESCO's headquarters, I was based in the UNESCO office in Accra and then in Nairobi, working for the IHE with countries across sub-Saharan Africa to support their quest for sustainable water management. Our program, IHE, works at the interface of sciences and policies. We support research, train professionals, and advise institutions for informed decisions on water. IHE Delft is one of the UNESCO's Category 2 centers on water that, together with the IHE and its national committees in 169 countries, the World Water Assessment Program, and the other 35 water-related Category 2 centers, and the 63 UNESCO water chairs represent the so-called UNESCO water family. In these particular times, more and more people are realizing that adequate access to clean water, sanitation, and hygiene are literally of vital importance. In this context, I wish to particularly congratulate newcomers from all horizons and genders who are now joining IHE Delft for postgraduate studies, research, and training. UNESCO is looking forward to your commitment and contribution to water security all around the world, in your communities and in the different ecosystems. The slogan, "Think globally and act locally," has not lost its meaning. On behalf of UNESCO, I wish all the new students the best success in the pursuit and protection of the common values we share with IHE Delft in education and capacity development. Think of IHE as a partner you can reach out to for information, materials, and advice if needed. In closing, I would like to thank the Rector of the Institute, Professor Eddie Moth, for this opportunity to welcome you all in the UNESCO Water family and to wish you fruitful studies and success.
Hello, my name is Karin Roelofs and I'm heading the Water Division at the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs. A warm welcome to all of you who've come from far, all over the world, to Delft in the Netherlands. You've chosen to study at IHE Delft, and I'm sure you won't be disappointed. IHE is a famous institute for water education, which we have worked together with for a long time. We often come across students of IHE Delft who are now in senior positions worldwide. Water is vital. Water is life. It is at the core of sustainable development and at the heart of adaptation to climate change. Water has been my passion throughout my professional career. It is vital that we care about water, now and in the future. We're facing big challenges achieving SDG 6 and other water-related SDGs. I sincerely hope that after you've completed your studies, you will be able to contribute to achieving the SDGs in your home countries. That is what really counts. I wish you good luck and a happy stay in the Netherlands.
I am Dr. Harriet Verlijn, cardiologist, past district governor of Rotary District 1600, and at present the Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator for the Netherlands and Dutch-speaking Belgium. On behalf of Rotary, I want to welcome you to the Netherlands and especially to the beautiful city of Delft. We applaud for you that you have chosen to study at the Institute of Hydraulic Engineering, the IHE in Delft, world's most renowned institute concerning water issues. Water is the most important issue. It helps us to battle famine, waterborne diseases, conflicts, and all the challenges we are facing because of climate changes. On my Rotary journey to India, I personally witnessed the impact to have access to clean water. As girls were able to go to school, waterborne diseases were eliminated, and there was enough food supply for everyone in the community. I sincerely hope that you will enjoy your study in Delft and even on cold weather. And I'm sure, in fact we all do, that after graduation, on your return home, you will become one of the most important leaders in your community concerning water issues. You will lead your community. Once again, I wish you a lot of success with your study and your stay in the Netherlands, and we Rotarians are willing to help you whenever necessary. I wish you all the best.
I'm Roshan Shrestha, Deputy Director at Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Water Sanitation and Hygiene Team. I'm also a Relationship Manager for IHE Delft. We are running one program called Global Sanitation Graduate School to build the capacity of human resources on the sanitation in the Global South. I'm so glad that you joined IHE Delft program. Warm welcome and congratulations to all of you. This is one of the world-renowned institutes. You will be learning a lot of things from the world expert sector professionals. My suggestion to you is there are a lot of problems. You can't really solve everything. You need to focus which area you really want to solve once you get back to your country. Select a couple of topics. That's it for you. Number two, you have to think about the poor, marginalized communities, women, children, who are still not really getting services on water and sanitation. Number three, you have to think of innovation. Innovation doesn't mean only technology. Innovation is services, approaches, business model, all the innovations you will be learning from here. But maybe you might be feeling that those innovations are very much westernized. So how you really going to transfer that innovation to your country? If you can do that, then you are successful. So there are a lot of opportunities. Now it's up to you how you want to grab that opportunities. I wish you all the best for your journey. Thank you.
Dear students, welcome to our city. My name is Maria van Dijsselveld and I'm the mayor of Delft. It's a great pleasure to welcome you. For you, it's an important step in your life. You are going to study, you enter the wide world. You leave home and family to learn somewhere else and meet new friends. But it's no news that the coronavirus is still there. That makes it very difficult to really get together. But I hope you will nevertheless have valuable encounters on a small scale and find new friends for life. You come here from all parts of the world to learn about water and water management. It's vital. With this knowledge and skills, you will contribute to solving problems. Your efforts will improve the quality of life for many people. Whatever your ambitions may be, we are happy and honored that you choose Delft and IHE to foster this dream. I sincerely hope you feel at home with us. You are very welcome to participate as much as possible in everything. Meet the residents of Delft, make new friends and contribute to the society. Be creative in these days. After all, creativity and innovation are key concepts for Delft. You will certainly find out. I hope we meet and see. For now, I wish you good luck in Delft.
With that, I would like to thank all 5 presenters there. And I hope that you picked up something from their presentations that is also useful for you in the months to come. What I also promised to you is that we would also give you a little bit of a taste on what you may expect when you will get the lecturers. And for that, one of my colleagues, Tibor Stichter here, who's associate professor in groundwater specialization, and he will say a few words and give you a small presentation on that side. And what I think is interesting is that Tibor is going to say something about what we can't see. And I think I will not say much more about that, but I would like to invite Tibor to the stage and take over. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Eddie. Yes, let me see if I can see the screen here. Okay. I can't. I think we will announce. Hi everyone, and welcome to IHE Delft. I know you're all determined, although we are living, of course, in quite challenging circumstances. I know you're all determined to come and do your studies here at IHE Delft. So, dear students, in my brief talk, I'd like to draw a parallel between your objectives here in Delft and that of water in the world in general. And to do that, as Eddie mentioned, I am a ground hydrologist, and for about 2 decades I have tried to contribute to making the invisible visible. And I can tell you already, it's not always easy, but it's also our mandate, let's say our responsibility at IHE Delft to make water visible and all its challenges and opportunities. And I would like to share a kind of a recipe or some ingredients for a recipe of success for making both water, but also yourselves as water actors more visible in the future. But before I do that, you must be aware that there is already quite some visible water in the Netherlands. And you will have that feeling when you learn to ride your bike and come to IHE in sometimes dire circumstances where you will have to maybe even visit a website where you can find more about how to protect yourselves against heavy wind and rain. But on the other hand, you also have a lovely landscape that we have in the Netherlands, which you will appreciate. And you will also be able to hopefully walk through a white Delft or on frozen canals. But back to becoming visible. Kind of a parallel with the water cycle. You know that there are many invisible and visible water components in the hydrological cycle, and they're all connected through fluxes. And basically, some of these invisible components try to become visible and make a difference. Think of atmospheric vapor that condenses and becomes rainfall and feeds rivers and aquifers, groundwater bodies, but also crops and wetlands. Think of groundwater, of course, that comes up somewhere and helps provide ecosystems, for instance, very relevant ecosystem services. And we study those relationships and those exchanges between groundwater and wetlands, for instance, as you can see in this graph, or in this diagram. And indeed, that parallel, as you actually try to become or continue developing yourself as a water actor, first kind of ingredients or first components of that recipe for success is exchange and connect to others and exchange that knowledge with your colleagues and your professors and your lecturers. At the same time, we know water, visible from space. How is that? Well, we have the blue planet, but if we look carefully, we see that the blue planet, in fact, if you see, it compares the volume of water that exists around the Earth or on Earth is much smaller than the volume of the Earth itself. And the volume of fresh water, of course, is even smaller than the volume of saline water. And of that, the large part is groundwater indeed, but only a small fraction of that groundwater is renewable. So water that comes back and basically replenishes our system. And you can see that in this fraction. So basically what I want to say here is we also need to look further than just the outer shell, right? This is that first image that tells us, hey, blue planet, but we know, and I know you already know that also to quite a certain extent, that we have to be aware of the limited amount of water available for economic and ecological purposes. But I also like to tell you the other side, and maybe more optimistic story of apparently dry conditions that we see from space. This is the example of dry rivers or large sand rivers that are dry large part of the time. This is in semi-arid Africa, and many of you might know that these systems, although they seem dry, if you zoom in these huge sand rivers and you dig a little deeper, you will find that there is actually more water than you might have expected at the start. And of course, the local population, the local vegetation knows that already, right? Has known that for decades, centuries. But it's another recipe, another component of that recipe is dig a little deeper to become visible. And how do we do that then? Well, for instance, in my area of research, I'm a process hydrologist, we have to look at the different components and how they interact. So in the same example of sand rivers, look at the margins and the connectivity between the river and the margins, look at the recharge and discharge mechanisms, look at competition with, of course, the other users that you need to take into consideration, look at the water quality, etc. But besides that, we have to go across disciplines and work within a team and use exciting methods such as remote sensing and modeling and field surveys and surveys with people, and work in a group that together you can try to make a larger difference. And in this case, we also have to ask ourselves, why? Why do we do this study? And actually, there's a tip for you. Always ask your lecturers also in the classroom, or ask yourselves why you're learning what you're learning, or why are we doing a certain research project, for instance. In this case, of course, we're trying to do that to build more understanding on a system that might help improve that link between water, energy, and nutrients, and crops, for instance, for the individual farmer. So a very important aspect is the why and the meaning of the work we're involved in. And of course the people, right? The people with who we work. All the different actors, all the different knowledge sectors, knowledge components, all the different levels of knowledge, all the different ways of knowing things. And that interaction is very, very important. I am a process hydrologist, but I need to communicate with water managers and irrigation specialists and water supply engineers. And that's the nice thing of this building, of course, of IHE Delft, is that we are all under one roof and we can easily share our experiences. And of course, working a lot with our partners on the ground and understanding and improving that knowledge. So again, more components of the recipe of success includes, of course, bringing in your own knowledge. Do not underestimate your own knowledge that you bring with you already from all your experience back home and in your work and in your previous studies. And also value all levels and all other forms of knowledge that come in this time that you are here in Delft and also afterwards during your work. And an example of a building on existing knowledge, important knowledge that is centuries or millennia old, such as these ancient water harvesting structures, such as canats and puquios in Latin America, canats, of course, in the Middle East and Northern Africa, where, even recently, a dear colleague of mine was working on revisiting those ancestral water harvesting techniques in the context of climate change. Unfortunately, he passed away this year, but he was very active in still in this field of trying to understand all that knowledge that already exists out there and building on that knowledge. And I know that also colleagues here, Margreet Sarteveen, for instance, are looking at the governance structures around these ancient water harvesting techniques to learn from. Also give it some time. Give it some time. If you want to become visible, if you want to make a difference, you also need to be patient. So give it some time. Groundwater, for instance, in this huge Nubian sandstone aquifer has taken, what do you think, up to 500 or 50,000 years? Well, in some cases, indeed, up to 50,000 years or longer to appear, for instance, in an oasis and there make a difference for people who are using that water. And this is also a nice example of how a transboundary system, because the system is shared by 4 countries, Chad, Libya, Egypt, and Sudan, how sharing a resource also increases the need for data transparency and sharing. And so also there to understand and to be able to use a system that is so old. This is basically mining a groundwater system because it's non-renewable, at least within the time frame we are usually managing our resources. It is very important to look at that data sharing and transparency as well. And of course, that is also for you as students during the coming 18 months and later on as water actors. This also applies to you. So be open, be transparent, again, share and exchange, and be digital, of course, more and more, especially in the times we live in, we cannot go without. And if you do so, I'm pretty sure that I think you will be able to overcome the challenges that we're facing and find all the opportunities that you're looking for, and indeed become, first a graduate, an alumnus, and a good and strong water actor in your field. So welcome, and hopefully making yourself visible as soon as you can.
Thank you very much, Tibor. And I think this is one of the things that we hope will also happen here. And that is that besides lecturing, telling you things like that, what Tibor also mentions is the peer-to-peer learning. And we think it's quite important, and we do hope that you will also enjoy that. And I think Tibor also extended an open invitation actually to not only look at the lectures you're following, but also look at the other disciplines that are available in the Institute. And please make as much use of that as possible. And with that, I would like to say that it's not only about learning, the technical side and things like that. I think what's also quite important, at least from our point of view, is that we hope that you will make new friends here. And we do hope that besides learning the technical side and all the scientific sides, which are quite important, but we do hope that you also pick something up from the culture, that you pick something up from the culture in the Netherlands, but that you also pick something up actually from the culture of the different people and the different countries that are represented, both by our students, but also by our staff. And we do hope that sometimes we can help you a little bit in that. And what I would like to do as a small interlude is to show you something that was made by some of your colleagues.
Jerusalem, ikayalami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, tunamishikilana. Jerusalem, ikayalami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, tunamishikilana. Yaudana, Audana, Musuwana, Audana, Ilondoloze, Suhamina, Yaudana, Audana, Musuwana, Audana, Ilondoloze, Suhamina. Aulana, Musuwani, Aulana, Ilondoloze, Suhamina, Yaulana, Aulana, Musuwani, Aulana, Ilondoloze, Suhamina. Jerusalem, ikayalami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, tunamishikilana. Jerusalem, ikayalami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, tunamishikilana. Yaudana, Aulana, Musuwani, Aulana, Ilondoloze, Suhamina.
I don't know about you, but this really makes me happy. And for the new students, of course, we expect something similar in 1 year time, as your senior students have done before you. So, for now, I would like to introduce Mr. Anand Tatla, sorry. He's the chair of the Student Association Board, and he represents the students of the batch 2019-2021. Along with his co-SAP members, Moban Malare, Molly Torillo, and Amand Serian, he is doing really a great job of providing a channel of regular communication between the students, the rectorate, and the Education Bureau. And in particular, in these unprecedented times, we have worked very closely together with the SAP to address the worries and the concerns of the students. And the rectorate would like to thank them very, very much for their hard work and their commitment. Anand is unfortunately not here. He's doing his research back home in India, but he prepared a message before leaving.
I'm honored and delighted to welcome each of you to IHE. It's such an honor to speak to so many young women and men. First of all, congratulations on choosing to be on this journey of learning at IHE. You will be amazed at how multicultural this institution is, and if you have to have lunch with somebody from a different country every single day, it'll take you a few months to get through all your batchmates. Our scholars here are also some of the finest in water education anywhere in the world, so please do make the most of it. Secondly, and most importantly, I'm really overwhelmed by conventional courage. It is so difficult to draw away from friends and family when we have a global pandemic among us. So I really hope that this journey is enriching and rewarding for you. And I have a profound understanding of how difficult this is for each of you as a son, sibling, husband, and a father of two wonderful children. So stay strong, stay together, and hopefully, you will feel rewarded at the end of this journey. Each of you is a glowing flame of passion and purpose, and I admire you for pursuing this dream at a time of global distress. Delft is a beautiful city of canals and ancient architecture. A bicycle here is as important as your notebook. Do learn to ride one. I mean, the king and the prime minister ride one to work and home. So what excuse we have not to ride one? And yes, the weather can be awful. So just be aware, have a weather app on your phone, and make sure that you're covered. Otherwise, you're going to get wet, not just by the education, but also by the waters from the skies. The reputation of IHE is built on quality, and good quality takes hard work. I can tell you from personal experience that this is not a walk in the park. So get ready to grind and enjoy the process of sweating your gray cells. With a little bit of planning, incremental effort, and some discipline, you will save your clothes. But at the end of the day, this journey of learning is both rewarding and meaningful. You might find it interesting that IHE is a great platform for interdisciplinarity and understanding that there are many ways of knowing and learning. And this can perhaps be best accomplished through collaboration and friendships, both at the institute and at your residences. At the same time, this interdisciplinarity is not restricted to academics alone. Purely from being a multicultural institution, you realize that you will meet and experience people with very different perspectives and understanding of life in general. Learn to respect these differences, embrace these many ways, and if you ever have a challenge, the Student Association Board, the faculty, the staff members, and the rectorate will be more than willing to help you. Just do not hesitate to reach out and ask for help. On behalf of the Student Association Board and all of you glorious seniors, I am pleased to extend you a warm welcome and wish you great success. Good luck with your studies and your personal development at IHE. Stay safe and live responsibly.
for the wonderful words, Anand. I hope you're watching. I would really like to thank you for these beautiful words. It is my pleasure now to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Rose Kagwa. She is one of our star alumni, and she actually did both her MSc with cum laude in water quality management and specializing in limnology, river and wetland ecology. And she also did her PhD at IHE Delft, and she finished in 2002. Rose is the Director of Business and Scientific Services of the National Water and Sewage Corporation in Uganda. She is responsible for the overall coordination and implementation of training and capacity development programs at this corporation with the goal of enhancing knowledge, skill and ability of the staff there. She oversees all water quality management for the 135 towns served by the corporation. And she also has led the consultancy arm of the corporation over the last 10 years, and in partnership with across Africa, Asia and the Caribbean. Rose also has kindly prepared this message of welcome and also as a source of encouragement and inspiration to all new students.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Rose Kagwa from Kampala, Uganda, and I work with National Water and Sewage Corporation. I'm a very proud alumni of IHE Delft. I was there twice, 1996 to 98 for my master's, and then later on from my sandwich PhD from 2001 to 2005, and I was able to graduate in 2006. I must say that it's a great honor and privilege for me to this afternoon welcome the students of the academic year 2020. A very big welcome to you all. I want to start by thanking the rector and staff of IHE for giving me this privilege to speak at such an honorable occasion. I hope to inspire you with my words, sharing a bit of my experiences, and to encourage you as you start this very big milestone in your lives. I must say, you, the new students, are making history, having come through a world pandemic that has affected so many and changed the lives of so many, and being given the privilege to further your education. I joined IHE in 1996, and I was very excited at the time. This was because I had read a lot about Holland, right in primary school, learning about windmills and dikes, and also from my father who had worked in Shell for a long time and had visited Holland several times. I wanted to see this unique country that had managed to conquer water. Working in National Water and Sewage Corporation, which is a water utility, I had been a chemist for about 4 years, and I thought that, yes, I knew a bit about water, but why was I in for a surprise? When you come to IHE Delft, and as you have come, you are excited, and you're also looking out to what this experience is going to be in your lives. You're coming to learn a new culture, a new language, a new food, see so many different people, and above all, learn a lot about water, sanitation, and environment. I must say this is a great privilege for each one of you. As you come to Delft, I want to encourage you to make friends. We have various cultures, and each time you walk through the doors of IHE, into the restaurant, into the classroom, into the labs, you find vast culture, different experiences, different knowledge. For many who come from developing countries, it is a great opportunity for you to know that you're not the only one struggling with the different challenges that you have, but also to know that other people are doing so and doing it better, and we're able to learn. As we face the challenges of the sustainable development goals, as we achieve to attain them, this time at IHE will ground you in your knowledge, in your science, and in the technology that is around to help us go back home and make better our sectors and our jobs. I want to encourage you to take time to make friends, not just with your fellow students, not just with those who are doing their PhD or their master's research, but also with your professors, because you'll find that underneath those tough professorial faces are actual people. And the friendships that you establish at IHE will last forever and they will be worldwide. As you study, look at this as an opportunity to further your career, but also to know that, for example, myself, having done my master's, gone back to work, then come back for a PhD, I was able to grow in my career, moving from a chemist right now to the level of which I'm a director of the organization. These are attributes to IHE. I've been able to also grow and join different associations and be able to contribute to the water and sanitation sector in the country and also be recognized regionally and internationally. This I cannot say I've achieved alone. The knowledge that I was given, the ability to know and understand water in depth that was given to me at IHE, the ability to do research and to further our education, my education in particular, is something that I treasure for a long time. The people of Holland are friendly, and as you walk in the streets of Delft, for example, on a Saturday afternoon, you learn more about life and not just learn about books and science and engineering, but you begin to see how other people live and how life is different, and you can take part of these things with you back home. Dear participants, I want to let you know that as a new student, for those who are in diploma as new students, you will not only change your career, but you will change your life. When you leave Delft and mention that you went to IHE Delft, you will be recognized and people will know that you're not a job consultant. I want to encourage you to take this opportunity, grab every opportunity to learn, to further yourself, to broaden your knowledge, to make friends, and to grow as an individual. And when you go back home, I'm sure that you will definitely make a very big difference. I want to once again thank the rector, the staff and administration of IHE. I want to thank you, dear participants, for having chosen IHE. You definitely have not made a mistake. Once again, I welcome you to the new academic year 2020 and wish you all the best. May God bless you.
Thank you, Rose, for these inspiring words. It's really nice to see inspiring and encouraging to see a alumni reaching that level. And we are really fortunate that Rose is still in close contact with us and is a very active alumni. So that is very fortunate for IHE. Thank you, Rose. If I counted well, we have 164 new students coming to starting studies now in November. 114 of them, 114 of them are now in Delft. They managed to come in the middle of the pandemic. They managed to come here, so I'm really pleased to see. And they represent 58 countries, so that's an enormous number of countries. And as the previous speakers already said, I mean, the challenges in the water sector are really complex, and there are no straightforward solutions. So there's a high level of complexity and uncertainty in water problems typically. And you cannot wait until you have all the information and data to make interventions. Some of the urgent water problems really call for a solution now, and wait until you have all the information is just not an option. And also the water challenges that we, and that Tibor, for example, explained and Eddie alluded to, and many of the other speakers as well, they don't have optimal solutions. There are many stakeholders and they often have conflicting interests. So you have to deal with trade-offs, winners, losers, and finding solutions quite often means compromising and negotiations with stakeholders. So most of the water problems you cannot solve on your own. So you cannot solve within one single discipline. You need your colleagues of different specializations. So what does that mean for the master program that you're just embarking on now? Water education needs to be inter and multidisciplinary. And it was already mentioned by a few people here. And this is more than a buzzword, right? And among the students, our students here in IHE Delft, we enjoy an enormous diversity in nationalities, in cultural backgrounds, in disciplinary backgrounds. And so to our new participants, I would like to say, make use of that. Learn to look at water from different angles, from different perspectives. Be inspired by different viewpoints that you will encounter at your time in Delft. An ecologist has a very different perspective on water challenges than a social scientist. And they, again, think differently than engineers or water technologists or chemists or biologists. Learn from these differences. We tend to discuss and listen in our own bubble and among other people from our own specialization. But actually, you hear relatively little news. So I would like to encourage you to attend webinars and choose electives in another topic than your own specialization. You will learn something new and maybe something unexpected, and that can enrich really your specialization. Secondly, as it was already said, our education stresses learning from your own experiences and from experiences from others. Most of our students, they come here with a few years of working experience. So make use of that. And as Tibor said, ask why. And if you learn a new skill or a new a theory, apply it to your own experience and discuss it with people with, again, different experiences. Thirdly, embrace diversity. And it was already said before, you are a very diverse group of MSc students. In disciplines, but also in nationalities and cultural backgrounds. And particularly in the beginning, it's quite tempting, to stick to your own nationality, although there's not many from one nationality. So, but because you speak the same language, you share the same culture, and that's really important when you're settling in. But I would like to encourage you to reach out, to get out of your comfort zone. And while you have this really unique opportunity, like 160 new students, 58 countries, it's really a unique international experience. So forge new friendships with those from other countries, because an international network of water professionals is one of the most precious assets that you can gain from your time at IHE. Lastly, our education is not only about knowledge transfer, but it's also to learning and enhancing skills. And that's, of course, these are the research skills, the presentation skills, the critical reading, academic writing, but it also, and the word was already said, leadership skills. You may think of leaders as being the people in charge, the managers, the people who tell you what to do, but that's not quite what we understand with leadership. We are referring here to the type of transformational leadership that is needed to address the kind of complex water issues that we have been looking at today. Showing leadership means setting directions and goals for yourself, for others, for your organization. Showing leadership means creating a shared vision, being a source of inspiration for others, and it also means working towards that common and shared vision. For example, a better future for all, a better water future for all. We are in a small institute. You have the opportunity to get to know, as Rose already also alluded, your fellow students, but also staff and the people hopefully from Delft. I would say enjoy this international learning experience, and I sincerely hope that you will gain a lot during your time here at IHE in terms of knowledge, skills, network, and inspiration. looking at what challenges ahead of us, we certainly need you. Inspired, motivated, bright water professional. I wish you a wonderful time here at Delft.
Thank you, Charlotte. I think that also brings us to the end of this opening session. I would like to thank all speakers of today. I would also like to thank all the people who attended this either in person or virtually. I know that a number of the Dutch friends from the Rotary members. I expect that also maybe some of the ambassadors have also participated to follow what was said here and to welcome you. I hope that some of your family have been able to follow this, so I would like to thank also all the people that you're already connected to also support you during the time to come, so that you have a very enjoyable time here. And with that, I would also like to thank all the people that have made this possible here, and especially the people that have been working quite hard to actually make the boxes available at the different student departments and helping out to guide you in the first couple of days here. Maybe connected to that, I also would like to invite all the new students actually to follow up another challenge that is there. You already heard the words from Anand, our present chair of the Student Advisory Board. And I must say that with the present students, and I would like to thank them as well, they managed actually to keep the number of people that were infected with the coronavirus very, 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 very low. And I would like the new students actually to follow that example and to set it as well, and to take very good care of themselves and also help us to maintain this, I think, a quite important and nice record. And I think what Anand also said on behalf of the other students, please take good care of yourself walking around here at the time being, because it's a difficult time at the moment. We hope it will change. And I think I can talk on behalf of all the lecturers and all the staff of IHE here. We also hope that in due time we can receive you here back in the Institute also in a physical way, and that we can have the very vibrant engagement that we expect. In the meantime, we also think that we have set up a system that is able to help you here on an online way, and I hope that even that has had some improvements if I compare it to just a few months ago. I hope it works out well. We are very open, and we would be quite interested to hear your feedback on that as well. We're always interested to hear about improvements, and we're looking forward actually to the challenge that Charlotte also puts to you to come up with maybe a new dance or maybe another cultural event that you would like to show your following students for the bachelor next year on what can be done also not on the academic side, but maybe a little bit more on the cultural side. So normally at this point in time, I will invite you all actually to join me for a drink in the restaurant. This time I would like to invite you to have a drink at home, and I hope to be able to share that with you. And like I said, it's not an easy time. Anand also said it already, it's not an easy time, but I do think it's a very enjoyable time. So I hope that you will all have a very, very nice time here. With that, I close the meeting, and I hope to see you all soon again. Thank you very much.